back at Blackburn, not great in the first half, much better in the second half. What pleased you more, the fact that you were able to force the issue more in the second half, or was it more disappointing that against other teams it might cost you more of that first half performance?
No, listen, we played against a good team. It wasn't, we weren't good, they were very good, and I thought our defending was amazing. So you can angle the question in any way you want. I think you tell me Dan Ballard wasn't very good first half. He was amazing. So you can't dominate every football match. We found a way through good defending generally. First half, hanging in there, and found a way to win. There's been lots of occasions, even a couple this season, where we've been very good and haven't managed to find a way to win. It takes all types of football match, and just happy that we got through the 90 minutes and got the 3 points and looked a threat. For most of the game, I would suggest, even when their possession first half was cutting through us, we would always be throwing punches and getting around their box and threatening, and ultimately scored 2 goals first half. So it's all right to score 2 goals when the perception is that we weren't very good. There's going to be plenty of games like that where the other team are allowed to attack and have some of the ball. It's what football is.
And injuries continuing to mount as well. I mean, how difficult is that for you at the moment?
Part and parcel of the game. I'm philosophical about it, I suppose. We always want to pick what we see as potentially our strongest team. It's very difficult to do that. So everybody's got injuries. We have to deal with them, and people have to move slightly out of position or opportunity to other people who might not normally get a chance. So just keep going. This week, we've got a few tired legs after that. It was our highest physical data of the season on Wednesday night, and there's a few carrying knocks, but hopefully by Sunday we'll be ready to go again, and whoever's fit and available will go out there and try and get another 3 points if we can.
Would that mean is Russian? Is he available for this?
Yeah, he's got his visa through. So we'll assess him in training. We see whether we think he's where he is. He's a young boy, I say a young boy. He's 24, isn't he? I think he's the language isn't great. He's a nice kid. He looks pretty sharp. Whether he's ready to play in our team at the moment is another question.
And a new longer-term deal for Anthony Patterson as well. How important is it keeping someone like him for what you're trying to build here?
It's always important to have a good goalie. Pato's, he's been here a long time. I think, I don't know, somebody might know better than me how many years Pato's been here, but got his opportunity in League One. Grabbed it with both hands, and was very good last year. I think finding his feet this year, he had a slow start in my opinion, and yet he's had a couple of clean sheets, and then helped us get a victory the other night as well. So delighted that Pato's signed up long term, and hopefully it gives him the stability and the foundation just to keep pushing on and getting better.
Cheers.
Thank you.
How good is everyone feeling now that you've won 3 in a row?
How are we feeling? You can see I'm not buzzing with energy today. We haven't took the team on the grass today. We've let them have a swim and a massage and a rub. And how are we all feeling? Just a bit, we have to. Tomorrow will be the 1 day preparation going into the next game. Really, it's hard when you seem to be always on the road, always on a bus, always on a train, always travelling, getting back late, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. but you know, it's what life in the Championship is, and this is the games, and we're in the middle of a 3-game week, and so it's tough today. Yeah, I can't sit here and say to you, yeah, the lads are amazing, they're bouncing around, the training is electric, it's great. We've given them all a day off their feet, really, and tomorrow hopefully they'll be electric and great and ready for the next challenge, which is obviously a tough one against Cardiff, who've just won back-to-back games and be feeling confident themselves. So yeah, the next challenge for us Sunday. You mentioned after the last match that your biggest problem this weekend could be yourselves. What do you mean by that? Just when you've generally got a group as inexperienced as ours, sometimes the better you do, the more dangerous it is for their mental approach to the game, really. I keep talking to them about, you know, if you want to achieve and you want to be really successful in football and go and play in the Premier League and have a career that hopefully is one that you want to talk to your grandkids about, you have to work really hard, and you have to keep your feet on the ground and keep wanting to improve and keep wanting to get better. Never rest on your laurels of winning a few games and thinking how good we are. Obviously confidence comes with that, and that's fine to have confidence as long as it doesn't tip over into arrogance. And so as long as we're turning up each game and we're ready for the next one, it's I'll be happy with them. I think they've shown they've got the talent and they've got the athleticism and the drive. My job is really just to keep their feet on the ground and keep turning up every match day, really, and so that the fans can see a team and that's working really hard and giving everything they've got to try and get the points. And what are you expecting from Cardiff? Because they're not bad team either, are they? There's no bad teams in this league. They're all good teams. They all got different ways of playing. That's why I think the Championship is such a challenge, really. Different to the last game, different from the team we played before then. So they've got some very good players. It seemed to me as if they've upgraded their team a little bit. Obviously, Aaron Ramsey's back at Cardiff playing, you know, a legendary footballer, a Welsh footballer, and but they seem to have recruited pretty well, I would suggest, watching their team. They've got some good players. They've got a new coach. They've just won back-to-back games. Obviously, one of them being the big derby against Swansea. Beat Coventry, and we all know how tough Coventry, you know, finished above us in the league last year in the playoffs. They finished fourth in the playoffs or third in the playoffs last year. So beat them quite comfortably, 3-2 in the end. But watching that game, they were pretty good in that game. So it's a game that we have to be at our best and turn up and be ready and physically and bring all the skill sets that we've got, and hopefully we can have a good day, and with the support right behind us, we make it difficult for Cardiff. And do you think the season's settled down a little bit now that the transfer window is shut and you've had some good results behind you? We always generally think about, you know, maybe a dozen games or so before you start to even look at the league table, see where you are, see what you're doing. I think it's still a bit early to get either too down about your results or too excited about your results. I think you know, maybe the next end of the next transfer window you can reflect and see what you start your season's been like. I think we're still bedding in a few. We talked about Rusyn there. It's, you know, he's had maybe 3 or 4 training sessions. He's just got his visa. He's doesn't really communicate with anybody. It's you know, he's not settled down yet. He's just a young lad on the periphery of training, and but we can see he looks quite sharp and clever with the ball and quick at times, and so we have to find out where he's going to fit into our group and where he's going to help the team be successful. The young right back from France, Timmy, he's of a similar type. He looks really exciting, looks powerful and fast, and technically very good, and yet he's been injured. He's just coming back. Let's hope he can help our team moving forward. And have to say the one that's caught the eye the most, and he's been on the pitch in the last couple of games, is you should maybe I call him Adil. I can't pronounce his surname. Machichi, is it? It's yeah, but he looks very adept with the ball, very confident, very clever with the football. The ball's easy for him, and I can see him playing a fair bit in our team. You know, because ultimately these new players, it's about trying to earn the trust of the coaching staff really to play, and they do that by training really well every day and showing us that they can handle the ball, and that they can, if we get injuries or we take somebody out, that they can come in and the team doesn't get weaker.
And just finally, I've got to ask, because obviously the Lionesses are playing tonight at the Stadium of Light. How good is it to see players that have gone through the Sunderland sort of club making an impact on the national stage?
Yeah, I think it's great for the club, great for the area. It doesn't surprise me that from the part of the country, you know, it's a very football mad part of the UK, and so young girls should be playing football and do play football. As we know, I've got 3 boys, and I've watched them grow up and play in the grassroots leagues around Teesside, and there's always been girls amongst the boys' teams, and some of them catch your eye as they're pretty determined and strong and technically good, and as you know, obviously watching the ladies' team being so successful in the Euros and the World Cup, you know, getting to a final is it's exciting. I take an interest in ladies football. It's I'm interested in our team, to be honest. They've got some really good results this season. I'm coming to the game tonight. I'm looking forward to it. To be honest, Caroline Wee has been like my type of footballer, a left foot, like a Liam Brady, silky left foot. She's Scottish, unfortunately, but I'm looking forward to watching them live. Really, I haven't seen the international ladies team live, and but I followed all their games in the tournament, and I think the improvement over recent years of the positional play and the technique and the athleticism of the teams has been quite amazing, really, and it doesn't surprise me that we've got a full house coming to the Stadium of Light to watch them play. It's really exciting times. Thank you.
It's only about 3 minutes in 3. You could argue things are perhaps starting to click after a couple of shaky matches at the start. You obviously had a full pre-season with this squad this term. You didn't have that last term. Has that helped getting your ideas across?
I don't know whether I put on pre-season was difficult. I felt, playing in 107-degree heat in America, it was tough, I think, on the team. A lot of travelling through time zones, and the opposition weren't really of the standard that we would have wanted to play. Generally in a pre-season, I'd like to play a team that I would assume are much better than us, so that we have to play out of possession and work really hard and try and deny them space. Whereas in every game we played, really we dominated the ball. And yet I thought against Ipswich and Preston we dominated both them games but found a way to lose them. But no, I just think it's a process. I think the team's getting better, and yet somewhere along the line we're going to lose back-to-back games. Hopefully we're not losing 3 on the bounce too often, but that'll probably happen this season, and yet that's the nature of the Championship. As I've said, it's not consistent because every team you play is different from the one you played before. Some are big and strong and powerful and get it forward very directly, and some are really technical and play lots of lovely passes around the pitch, and you have to prepare your team within the next 2 days or 3 days of a build up to a match, and because teams are allowed to be good against you. That's I've said to the team the other day, I said, Blackburn have got some really good players, and I know most of them. I signed most of them. It's they're really technically adept, and I think the coach has done an amazing job at giving them a different system to play and a different way of playing, and they're very good at it, and they are allowed to attack us. They're allowed to have the ball, and yet you have to win football matches lots of different ways. And let's see, at Cardiff, As I've been watching them, I think they're all right with the ball. They don't necessarily dominate the ball, I think, but they can score goals and they're a threat, and they've got some really good individuals. I'm interested to see how this game pans out, whether we're going to be dominant and have lots of chances and lots of shots and lots of possession, or whether we're going to have to play counter-attack. But before we start, as long as we have those options, we should look forward to every game, really. And that's what we're doing. And as the season, I can't give you a straight answer of, or are we all bedded in, it's going to be great all the way now from now to the rest of the season? No, because we're going to, the championship is up and down. We're going to lose some games that you might not on paper think we're going to lose, and we're going to win some games, hopefully, you know, tough away games against some of the big teams as well. So let's just keep going, let's keep accumulating points, and as I say, when we've played a dozen or so games, we'll be able to assess whether we've had a decent start to the season or not.
Just a word on Jack Clark, obviously a great performance from him midweek. How important was it that he stayed at the club given how well he's now performing in the league?
I think Jack's been, you know, since I've been here, Jack's been a really important figure in the way that we attack. I think in the way that we try and exploit the talents of the individuals. I think you know, we played without strikers for a long time, and so we used like our cutting edge in wide areas to try and get behind teams and try and attack them, and Jack was very, very important in that role. We have to see as how the team's going to grow. We've got some strikers at the football club now, and as I say, we have to acclimatise into how we want them to play. But the signs are good. They're working really hard in training and trying to take on board what we want from them. But Jack Clark, yeah, pleased with his goals returned so far. I did question before the season started, you know, with the loss of Ahmed, whether Jack could continue on the vein of last year with the goals and assists, and it looks like he's going to do that. You know, it's I don't know what he's got. He's got 5 already, has he? It's so yeah, we're very pleased with Jack Clark, and but he has to, like I said about the team, him as an individual needs to keep his feet firmly rooted on the ground and keep working hard and keep trying to do what he's been doing in the first 6 or 7 games.
Finally, you mentioned injuries there, and of course, being the championship, you have midweek games. Do you feel like you have a squad big enough and to have the ability to rotate enough to cope with all the fixtures that you have?
We will do that. You know, whether the team's good enough. You know, as a coach, I sit here and try and not give excuses out. If we lose football matches, it might be because we've lost some really key players, and you know, you as journalists can assess, and the fans will decide whether they think the injuries are hurting the team or not. For me, of course, you'd like high quality all the way through your squad. Invariably, at a club like in the progression of where we are in our history, we haven't got two internationals for every position in the team. You know, it's we have lots of young players or inexperienced players, and when they have to play, it's good for them because it gives them experience. Whether it hurts the team, I think sometimes potentially it does, but it's gaining experience for them, and we do our very best to try and cover up the perceived weaknesses in a team if we're struggling with what we might call senior players. But yeah, I think they're doing all right, and that's what we have to keep doing. And whether we get another big batch of injuries, we'll continue to compete and try and win games with or without centre forwards or centre halves or goalkeepers or wingers. It's you have to find a way in football. That's the job of the coach, to put the team together on the pitch to try and find a way to beat the team in front of them.